let's talk about something you've probably felt. You know that feeling when your business is running on a treadmill? You're working harder, you're selling more, but you're just not moving forward? Well, today we're going to unpack what's called the physics of profitability. It's a way of looking at your business with industrial-level discipline to turn your daily operations from a cost center into your biggest engine for growth.
Here's the big counterintuitive question that drives so many business owners crazy, right? Sales are going up, the team is busier than ever. So why? Why does it feel like your profit margin is getting thinner? It's a real head-scratcher, but believe me, it's a very common problem. And this is what it's called the profit paradox. It's what happens when your growth starts to outrun your systems. Just think of your business like a plumbing system. As you grow, you add more pipes, more connections, but you also create dozens of tiny, almost invisible leaks. Each little one, a delayed order, a small mistake, a moment of confusion. It seems like nothing, but add them all up and they are silently draining your profits, drop by drop. So how in the world do you fight an enemy you can't even see? Well, you turn on the lights. And this is the absolutely brilliant first step in the operational architecture that an expert like Hernan Vazquez proposes. It's not about yelling at your team to work harder. It's about giving everyone a crystal clear map of the entire process so you can all finally see exactly where the waste is hiding. And, profit doesn't just vanish in one big catastrophe. It leaks away in the gaps between the steps. It gets lost in the time a customer's waiting. It gets lost in materials just sitting on a shelf, not making you any money. But the worst offender, the absolute cancer of profitability, is rework. That constant, frustrating, soul-crushing cycle of fixing mistakes that honestly should never have happened in the first place. And this quote just gets right to the heart of Hernan's whole philosophy. You cannot manage what you don't measure, and you can't fix what you can't see. Real, lasting improvement doesn't come from motivational speeches. It comes from handing your team a map and a magnifying glass so they can find and get rid of the friction themselves. Okay, so we've turned on the lights, we can see the problems. How do we fix them for good? This is where two incredibly powerful ideas come into play. First, Kaizen, the art of continuous improvement, and second, something called living SOPs. And forget about those dusty old manuals and a binder. This is all about creating a system that doesn't depend on one or two key people, but on simple, repeatable standards that make it easy for the whole team to win. Oh man, we've all seen the Juan method in action, haven't we? Juan is a legend. He's the guy who just knows how everything works. But here's the problem. The entire system is trapped inside his head. So what happens when Juan gets sick, or goes on vacation, or even worse, finds another job? The whole operation just grinds to a halt. The goal here is to move from that super fragile model to a solid company standard, where the knowledge belongs to the business itself. That's what makes performance predictable and your company resilient. Now, this is not about adding more boring, pointless meetings to your calendar. This is about building a simple, powerful rhythm into your week. Imagine this, a quick 10-minute huddle every morning to get everyone in sync. A weekly meeting that is laser-focused on just one thing, smashing bottlenecks. A quick check-in to keep things orderly, and a deep commitment to finding the real root of a problem, not just slapping a Band-Aid on it. This is the simple operating system that protects your profit margin. And this is where it gets really cool, really practical. We make these standards actually useful. No more digging through a 3-ring binder from 1998. We're talking about putting a simple QR code on a machine or at a workstation. Anyone can scan it with their phone, and boom, up pops a short video or a simple checklist showing them exactly what to do. It's about removing the guesswork and making it effortless for your team to get it right every single time. Okay, now let's apply these ideas to the physical heart of your operation, your warehouse, your stockroom. This is ground zero for lost profits. Every single second someone spends searching for a part, every time you have a surprise stock out, every damaged item, it is a direct hit to your bottom line. If you want to protect your margin, you have to master your logistics. The secret weapon for this is a brilliant system from Japan called the 5S methodology. In a nutshell, it's a 5-step process. Sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain, all designed to create a hyper-organized workplace. The goal is simple. A place for everything and everything in its place. So your team can just grab what they need and go without wasting a single second searching. Then, once you have that solid, organized foundation, you start getting really smart with a data-driven inventory policy. This is about replacing, I think we need more of this with the data shows we need to reorder now.
You use real information to set safety stock levels that can adjust automatically, and you identify those absolutely critical parts that you can never run out of. This is how you build a supply chain that can actually withstand a few shocks. And of course, your operation can be brought down by a weak link, and often that link is a supplier. That's why you have to track their performance with cold, hard data. Are they on time? Is the quality what you paid for? And do they actually pick up the phone when you have a problem? A stable business requires stable partners, period. Now, I can kind of hear what you might be thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but what about the real world? So let's tackle some of those tough, practical questions that always come up when we talk about making these kinds of changes. First one, the big one. Isn't all this Kaizen stuff just for, giant car factories? The answer is a hard no. In fact, you could argue it's even more powerful in a smaller business. Kaizen is simply a mindset, a philosophy about hunting down and eliminating waste. And in a small team, every single improvement has a huge, immediate impact on your bottom line. It's about optimizing your workflow, whether you have 5 employees or 5,000. Okay, next up, the one that hits every business owner's wallet. Do I really have to go out and buy a bunch of expensive software for this to work? Absolutely not. And this is a core principle of Hernan's entire approach: process before technology. First, you build a strong, simple process that actually works for human beings. You know what? A whiteboard with some sticky notes and a well-made video SOP are often 1,000 times more effective than some clunky, expensive software system that nobody on the team wants to use. The tech has to serve the process, not the other way around. And finally, maybe the most important question of all, the one that's really about people: what happens if my team fights me on this? What if they resist the change? This is the crucial part. Resistance just melts away when your team realizes this isn't about micromanaging them. It's about removing the daily frustrations that make their jobs harder. When you give people a system that helps them win, that reduces their stress, they don't just accept it, they start to own it. So you do all this work. What's the actual payoff? What does success really look like, and what does it feel like? Let's get really specific about the tangible results you can expect when you build this kind of operational architecture. See, this is a hands-on, collaborative process. You're not just getting a report, you're building a powerful toolkit for your business. Hernan works with you to create these assets. You get the definitive map of your workflow, a 90-day action plan, the video SOPs that your team will actually want to use, a simple dashboard to see your progress at a glance, and those smart inventory and supplier systems that make your business truly resilient. And when you boil it all down, the goal of all of this is beautifully simple: less rework, fewer fires to put out, and most importantly, more predictability, so you can deliver on your promises to customers every single time. So, if you're tired of constantly fighting fires, if you're sick of running from one crisis to the next, and if you're ready to start confidently building a bridge to a more predictable, more profitable future, then the next step is actually pretty simple. Get in touch with Hernan and just start the conversation. It might just be the most profitable one you have all year.